Hey folks, it's Kary Oberbrunner, and I have with me my brand new guest. Just met him like 2 minutes ago. But I've heard good things about him, and we're gonna learn all about Josiah. So Josiah, tell us your last name. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Josiah Centeno, and I am a pastor, an author, a minister, a missionary, a husband, father, all those good things. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
All right. Well, listen, somebody introduced us. In fact, Tanisha did. She's watching and sharing this amazing thing. But we're gonna give people some secrets today. We're gonna teach them how you read the book.
Yeah.
And I just found this out literally, I think Thursday we shared our biggest wins of the week, which we always do. And I think Tanisha said one of her wins was that you read the book and applied it. So
Mm.
I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. So tell us how long you've been an author. Tell us when you read this book and tell us kind of how you started to put it in action.
Yeah, so I've been an author since 2013.
Wow.
Um, so I've been holding on to these books and trying to discover, I guess, the untapped potential for a
Yeah.
while. So two of my books were 2013 and then another one in 2018. And just the journey, I'm sure you're pretty aware of when you have something that inspires you and you feel like it'll benefit others, you want to take action. So I believe that the initial action was writing a book, but
Mm,
then I got in a little rut or a stall on like, well, what next?
yes.
And as a pastor, it gets kind of tricky because you don't want to market yourself,
Yes.
but you're a minister, so it's a tool, but you run into
Oh, I get it.
that hard spot. You know what I mean?
I
It's
get
not
it,
the
man.
sweet spot yet. And so what I did is I kind of held on to that. And then, for everybody, COVID and everything happening, it kind of transitioned some things and even in the church gathering setting. So how do you repurpose a gathering? And I guess everybody jumped on the bandwagon of online things. And for me, I love to teach. I love to train. I love to equip. I think that's part of what we're called to as believers,
Mm,
to disciple. And to disciple is to train and equip and to make others better than you and equip them with the things that you learn from.
mhm.
And so, in thinking through that, online courses came up, but I was still spinning my wheels. I don't feel like it really like clicked when I read your book, which Tanisha is a good friend and you know her and how much
Oh,
of a gift
she's
she
amazing.
is.
Yes.
She was like, I think you should read this book. So I read the book in 2 days, took a lot of notes, and pretty much applied it right away. So I kind of had the key in the ignition, but I wasn't going anywhere yet.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And once I applied certain things, it felt like I had language, direction, and real focus on where I was going to hone my energy and strength into. And from there, I mean, Tanisha is actually a part of the course that I'm doing. So not only did she
Wow.
recommend it, but she's actually a part of it and probably can testify a little bit about how it's blessed her and helped her. So I kind of implemented those things in a speedy way, but it worked. It was like the right time, the right moment for me.
So good.
Yeah.
So you picked up Your Book Is Not a Business Card, and I
Yes.
wrote this as a response
Mhm.
because I don't know if you know this story, you probably yeah, you might. But, I was a pastor
Yeah.
who got, book 1 out, then book 2, then book 3, then book
Mhm.
4, I totally get what you're saying because
Right.
I grew up in a church where it's kinda like you were told, "Don't talk about your book."
Right.
Like, it sounds so weird, but it's like you write this book and then, "Oh, don't talk about it," because that's self-promotion
Mhm.
and you're caught because you wanna see people's lives change,
Right.
but you kinda feel like, "Well, gee, am I wrong to talk about the book?" And you know what, Josiah? For me, God actually moved me out of the church,
Mhm.
I think almost to overcome that
Mm.
because I was like, "No, man, I wanna tell everybody,"
Right.
and not to make money, but to literally change people's lives. I mean,
Exactly.
I see Tanisha put in some of your book titles, and these are crazy awesome. So tell us about Ready, Set, Whoa,
Mhm.
Prophetic Playbook, and Healing Handbook. What are these books about?
Yeah, so I believe in journaling.
Okay.
I read a little bit of your story as well, and I had a lot of social anxiety, depression, suicidal
Yes.
tendencies.
Yes.
And when I gave my life to Jesus, my pastor, she recommended that I journal, and I had never
Mm.
did it before. And I kind of was into the rap scene. I rapped, I did music, and so lyrically and rhythmically, I loved words. I love how
Oh,
they blend
yeah.
together. I love what they mean. I always did good in English class
Yes.
growing up too. So the power of words, and so when I started writing and journaling, I recognized that I loved it. You know, I love to put language to things that gave
Mm.
people language, and blogging and all of that. And when I wrote my first book, Ready, Set, Whoa, it was actually part testimonial and part my journal. So it's real
Mm.
life encounters of what I experienced. And I remember reading a lot of stories in the Bible and things that, other books of religious leaders and people who kind of walk this journey out with Jesus. And I never saw anybody explain biblically their testimony. So I lived this thing out. So I went on mission trips and I
Yeah.
served the poor and I went to uh, inpatient, facilities and did things. And when God began to move, I didn't know I was walking in certain biblical principles at that time.
Mm.
But through my journaling and writing this book, I was able to teach biblical principles by extracting them from my story. And like, I
Wow.
didn't realize I was doing that. And I don't think a lot of believers or people understand they're walking out principles or
Mm.
truths while they're actually living, because we think it should look like somebody else did it or that way. So
Yeah.
it really ruins the cookie cutter mold of what people should do and how it should look, but it keeps the foundation of scripture. And so Ready, Set, Whoa is testimony, it's stories of a 1 year journey of obeying God. Similar to you, is like I was working in a medical records field,
Okay.
and then God told me to step into ministry.
Wow.
And then now on the flip side, I feel like I'm like you, I'm stepping out of more of that ministerial and now doing some of these more business end and equipping people in this realm.
Yes.
And so then the prophetic playbook came at the same time.
Mhm.
It's really just teaching people how to hear the voice of God and
Yeah.
how they hear the voice of God. We hear our parents differently. We hear um, people when they speak to us, we hear them differently. And so it's learning how to have a relational aspect of how God speaks and how to apply that to real life. And the Healing Handbook is very similar.
Mm.
It's taking stories and truths from the Bible and personal experiences and putting them on paper, putting them on page, writing them, scribing them like the
Yeah.
Bible is made up of scribes. So,
Mhm.
um, and giving people simplistic truths to walk out, that it doesn't have to be someone on the pulpit doing all these things. It's every son, daughter of God, every person who believes in Jesus, walking these things out in very practical ways and living a lifestyle that says, yeah, I live this. It's not that I'm just talking about it, but I live this out in my everyday life. And my kids do it. This is real life for me. This is not just a segment of my life. My kids do this. I've taught them these truths. And, my youngest saw someone healed when he was 3, praying for them. And, you know, who knows what we're capable of doing until we actually do it. So I'm just
Wow.
kind of that type of individual, I guess.
I love it. So you're basically your books center on making spirituality integrate with everyday life.
Right, right. Making it simple, because if it's not childlike, we make things too complicated,
Yeah.
and then we teach people complications, and
Mm.
then when their faith isn't looking a certain way, we say, "Oh, you did it wrong."
Mm.
It's like, no, I didn't do it wrong. You just overcomplicated things. And now I think I have a formula or format instead of a real relationship.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. So, sorry, my camera went out a
No, it's
second.
fine.
Did you go through all three? All
Uh,
three of your books? Did you go through all three?
right. Yeah.
You
So
explained all three of them. The
yes.
prophetic playbook, the healing. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay. So now let's talk about you read your book is not a business card.
Hmm.
What about that book resonated with you? In other words, did it feel like, okay, finally somebody gets it that it's like beyond just handing somebody a book? Like, what about it resonated with your spirit, the concepts?
Yeah. I think when I read it, it's amazing when someone you trust hands you something. You
Mm,
know, when Tanisha was like, I've read this. I trust this person, and so it's not just a like a random
sure.
recommendation. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I trusted her. She trusted me with something valuable. When I took it, I was like, I got to read this right away. Like I
Mm,
can't wait around. And so when I read it, I think what resonated the most is I think maybe we have a similar heart.
yes.
Um, the way you word it is igniting souls.
Yes.
And when I read it, I felt that. You know what I mean? I was
Mm,
like, I'm feeling ignited. I'm actually being ignited in things that are dwindling, kind of. You know, I'm an author, I'm a writer. And if that gift, if that wick goes out, then a part of
ooh,
me kind of dies.
wow.
And so I got some flame, some ignition on the things that I'm passionate about and that God created me to do.
Mhm.
And so as I'm reading the pages, the way you word things, the way you your language, um, I think that the gift, it's not just a pastoral gift, but the gift to create simple thoughts that
Mm,
rhyme and that flow well.
yeah.
I think that way. I word things that way. And so your language was really inspiring to me and really caught me. I think, you know, radio might call it a sound bite, but
Mm,
it's a nugget of wisdom.
yeah.
It's a truth that's palatable and that's put in language that I can grasp very easily.
Mhm.
And so the way that you were able to walk me through, even the way that you formatted the book was really helpful.
Mm,
It had a flow, it had a cadence, it had a rhythm to it that I believe anyone can really walk through. Even
mm,
if you feel like you're not going to use all the 18 streams of income, you can see the ones that, like, I can do that one now, or I'm
yeah.
in the process of doing that now. And it really walks you through very um, simply to apply it quickly.
Yes.
And that's what I have trouble with, people who overcomplicate things.
Yes.
If you could make it simple enough for me to apply right away and see the benefits of it with long-term sustainability, I think that's a gift that you paid for
Mm.
that I get to walk through with a greater ease. And that, I think I capture that in your heart too. You went through all the grit so that I could get a good gift.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, Josiah, I got a confession to make to the people here that for a while I blamed God
Mm,
for my lack of success
mm,
because God puts a desire in your heart, man. And I wrote my heart out. I wrote Your Secret Name and The Journey to Irrelevance and
mm,
a book titled Called, and it's about making disciples. And you're putting all this stuff out, and then it's like it feels like God isn't supporting you. It feels
right,
like, right? It feels
right.
like, well, gee, I got to market this thing and it's nobody's buying it and nobody's listening. And you can get discouraged. And then you look across the table and you see somebody else write a book on cardboard or something.
Right.
And they're selling, millions and you're just like, what the heck? And so I think it's easy for us to get discouraged and kind of blame God.
Mm,
And that's where I stayed for a few years. But then I feel like for whatever reason, my wife, God, my buddy Chet, they just kind of said, look, Ryan Holiday says it, Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the way.
mm,
In other words, all this resistance that you're feeling, the way is actually to go through it
Right.
not to avoid
That's
it. And
good.
so that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to view my book differently. I'm not
Mm.
going to just view it as a book. I'm going to view it, because you know how it is. You sign a book and you're like, "Dear Lisa, have a good life. See you in heaven."
Right.
"Dear Tanisha, have a good life." Like you don't think about like this could be a movement.
Right.
And so then I started to take my books and turn them into, courses and talks and workshops. And then, of course, people start saying, whoa, I'm not just going to pay for a $15 book. I'm going to pay for a $150 course.
Mm.
And it's actually cheaper than 2 months of counseling or whatever. Nothing against counseling, but
Right.
in other words, you're actually helping people
Mm.
and you're saving them money and you're getting them to transformation faster. Not that, and my wife's a counselor, so I love counseling.
Right.
But my point is that now you can do what you love full time.
Mm.
See, and that's why I wrote the book, so that authors could say, writing is not just this little hobby that I need to get up at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then I have to do my real job the
Right.
rest of the day. But what if you could turn this passion and turn it into a full-time gig?
Right.
What do you think? Is it possible? Like, could you actually be a thought leader, speaker, writer? Words, I can tell words are your passion. Could you build your life around communication? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we come from a oral culture. You think about social media and how anyone can be a voice, and sometimes that's to the detriment because the voice is still forming and kind of getting that thought. So some things can come out baby speech, some things
Mm,
can come out like teenagers, and they're saying stuff that's like, yeah, you're getting some of it, but not the full picture. And then you get somebody who went the way of the obstacle and built up different muscles mentally, emotionally, spiritually,
mm.
and they have a well rounded thought that gives people stability in the midst of their journey.
Wow.
And so, whether for me, I felt like I was on step 3 and you gave me step from 3 to 11. And
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
yeah, like, thank you for that because I needed it. I had some pieces, but now you helped me excel. And I
Mm,
think um, our passion is not that this would be the gig, but that this would be a gift to the world that we leave
yes.
behind, that when we're done, we could say we did it. Like, I did what I was born to do. And because of that, other people got to do what they were born to do. And I
Mhm.
think that's really um, worth the risk and the reward that comes with it.
That's good.
So I do think it is something that's becoming more common,
Yeah.
but it's for the purpose of everybody living their dream.
Yeah. Man, that's well said. And the moment Tanisha mentioned your name, I was already fascinated because I said, anybody who's going to read a book and put it into practice and get results, I said, I got to talk to this guy
Yeah.
because I mean, that's the goal of every author. It's not that readers read it, but they're
Mm.
like reading and applying.
Yes.
And I knew that for most people, they would need the course too,
Mm.
because the course is going to give them access to me. It's going to give them templates. It's going to take it deeper.
Mm.
But then I was like, well, we got to get Josiah on here because he already did it without the course. But I want to show you a little bit about the course. Can I do that, Josiah?
Yeah, please.
Okay, because this is brand spanking new, as in like the team is literally finishing editing the guidebook as we speak.
Awesome.
Um, because it launches at 8 p.m. tonight. But
Mm.
here's the Think Outside the Book masterclass.
Wow.
Okay. And so you notice like I'm proving the model.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I wrote the book, but then now I'm turning it into a course. So
Mhm.
here's a little hour-long training that I gave people a taste of. And then we were going to go to 100 students, but we
Mm.
decided to go to just 50. So now
Mm.
they're going to get a lot more access,
Right.
where I can spend more time with the people. And about half the people are in my private mastermind. So this is pretty fun. But anyway, what we're going to do is it's for ambitious, growth-oriented authors.
Mm,
And it's not for the authors like, no, I just want to sit on the fence,
right.
or I just want to write a book and then wait for Oprah to call me. I mean, this is for people who are like, man, I'm going to go out there and share the message with the world.
Right.
And then it's a masterclass designed to do exactly that. It's
Mm,
four Monday evenings. So starting tonight, they'll get a lifetime access, so they can do this for their book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5
mm,
in a private learning portal. We're going to record the group sessions, and probably someday in the future, just like I teach in the book, this will be a self-study course.
right.
Right? And that's one of the streams of income, is that you go into self-study course.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's going to launch as a live coaching course. And I encourage people to do that the first time and then record it. And then why? Because they're going to get clarity.
Yeah.
This is not guesswork. I mean, just the guidebook alone, it's 140 pages.
Wow.
and it's not just data. It's like, and here's
Right.
what to do in your note to the reader, and here's what to do on your back cover copy. And so it's
Mm,
literally giving them the steps. I've been able to train over the last 20 years about 250,000 authors through mostly my webinars.
right.
And then, like you said, simplicity. So you caught that loud and clear, man. I'm
Right.
a communicator, but you wanted it to be simple.
Right.
And then we're also going to tie people into a community. I see Marty watching today, but we have this thing called Igniting Souls on Circle. And so it's a private community.
Mm,
And then we're going to have accountability where people are going to say, look, here's what I did, or here's my progress for the week. So this whole thing, and then you can watch this video and you can see all different authors, all different genres. But this guy has made about $500,000 on his course
wow.
called the 7 Systems Plan.
Mm,
It's a book, but then he turned it into a course. And
mm,
Renee's so this is drpatluce.com. People can Google him. Renee built a book around her mastermind. Tony built content around his racial reconciliation fiction
wow.
book. Okay. And then we have Shane, we have Broken Little Believer book. What she did is she wrapped her entire RV with her book and went around the country.
Wow.
I
That's cool.
mean,
That's cool.
and then we throw in, 3 steps to get big influencers to partner with you, Video Vault, step-by-step process to create book trailers. I don't know if you've gotten into that yet, but that's pretty slick.
Mm,
Book trailers. How to use a Facebook group to create a 6-figure launch, and then how to create a conference around your book. So all of this is, my normal rate when I do this one-on-one with people. It's quite expensive. I'm bringing 2 decades, and
right.
it's about $2K an hour.
Mm,
But this is $497, and it'll be lifetime access. And here's what I want to do for you, Josiah. Okay.
mhm.
So I'm going to gift you this, my friend. All right. So I know I only met you 27 minutes ago, but Tanisha's really special to me,
Mm,
and she's been amazing. And so I want to gift you that, and
wow.
because I believe in you and your ministry and your books.
I'm not at a loss for words, but I am taken back. So I do thank you, because I do consider that a gift. And
Awesome.
yes, thank you
Awesome.
so
Well,
much.
I know you're gonna take your books and help so many people. And it's amazing what you do, your topics, the fact that you give of your life to help the poor and other people. And so, hey man, you're gonna be in the group, whether you can join us live or if you have studies on Monday night. You can watch the recordings, but I'm excited to see what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I'll be on tonight.
All right.
Definitely,
All right.
I'll be on.
All right. So look at the crowd loves you, man. Marty says you deserve it. You know, other people are saying stuff about
Yeah,
you.
thank you guys.
So tell us where we can find out more about you. I know Tanisha's dropping the Amazon links for your books, but where can we find out more about you?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of doing a lot of the stuff on Facebook.
Okay.
So Josiah Centeno Ministries. I turned kind of a repurposing of what was happening with the church and kind of stepped out into this. It's called Ministries, but it's the online courses. It's cultivating gifts, which is kind of like a webinar, group coaching, one-on-one consulting for people who want to
Sweet.
grow specifically in their gifts. And so then I have an interactive course, and I also have a self-study course. So again,
Yeah.
I applied all of this
You
stuff.
applied it, man. I mean, this book only came out, I want to say September, October.
wow.
You're telling me you read this thing and applied it, and
Yeah.
you're experiencing influence, impact, and income already.
Yeah, our first kind of like pilot
Yeah.
had 13 students of the interactive course.
Oh my gosh.
And so they helped me work through some things too. So they were my gift, even though they invested,
Yeah.
kind of helped me pivot and learn. And was like, okay, this will be better for people. This will be. So it was almost like that trial run. And the book helped me harness what I learned to focus it
Yeah.
and be more productive. And so I did a virtual book launch, which was something you shared in your book as well. And I did that. And I had my parents on there, and it was really, really cool and intimate. So yeah, people can get to me on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And from there, just again, I'm really relational, probably similar to you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to invest my life, I want to give people my heart. So I want to give people access to 15 years of experience.
Yes.
And that's not counting growing up in a Christian home and learning some of the things that, go along with ministry. And this is all around the world, India, Iraq, different places around the world too.
So cool.
I'm excited.
That is so cool. And Victoria said she's one of your students. Tanisha is one of your students. I encourage everybody to share this live stream because, Josiah's, listen, as a teacher, when a student follows and does the work, I mean, I'm telling you, I'd rather have that than sell 1 million courses.
Yeah.
Because I'm selling 1 million courses, 0 life change.
Right.
Who knows if people, but when you see a student who even just read the book and now they're out crushing it, that's awesome. So we had, Josiah, today we had, I just want to read all the people who joined the course just today. Okay. Because we're almost at 50. I sent out an email that we had 9 spots left. I think we're down to 3 now. And again, we decided we're going to go 100. And then we're like, too much. Let's keep it small. Let's keep it small and really help this first group get crazy results.
Right.
And this is news to you. I'm including a special blockchain NFT component. That's the 19th stream of income. So this is all cutting edge, brand new. Yeah. Yeah. So just today, okay. So here's the people who joined in the last 24 hours. Adriana, Jeff, Vibeke. That's a crazy cool name. Vibeke. Estelle, Stacy, Mafan, Maureen, Sunil, Victoria, Dominique, Tanisha, if you could put the link in, we literally start in 7.5 hours.
Wow.
And we'll fill up. But I'm super excited, Josiah, to hang with you.
Yeah.
And God used Tanisha to hook us up, man.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for it. I know that I'm going to learn a lot. I've already been taking notes, so I'm taking notes already, and I look forward to being with you and others like you. And
Yes.
any way I can learn or give to our community, which is huge in the learning journey, I'm really, really excited and honored.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today. And listen, man, what would you say to the person who, let's close with this because
Yeah,
I always want to inspire somebody. What would you say to the author who's either written a book, or we even had a lady today email us and say, I don't have a book out yet, but I'm working on it. Should I join? And we're like, absolutely. So
right.
Dominique joined. But what would you say to the person who says, man, I don't know if, could God really take me and my book and blow it up? Maybe I'm not good at tech, or, you
Mm,
know, maybe they're just overwhelmed with self-limiting beliefs. What would you
right.
say to the person who has a great heart, a great message, but is scared?
Yeah. I would encourage that person that they have language from God's heart that no one else will ever have. God gave them a specific message that if they hold quiet, they stay shut, then the entire universe will miss out on something that God wanted to say to us, and we miss it.
Wow.
It's that deep. Like God chose that person to have a unique voice in all the earth. There'll never be a duplicate in all time. They have a message for this time in their life that will echo through eternity both ways. It'll go that way, past, present, future. Um, and so God loves them enough to have given them that. And he will love them through the discomfort of learning how to speak that, communicate that. And I want to hear it. I would encourage them, like, I want to hear what God put in you to say to me and how it can bless my life. So yeah, that's what I would say to that person.
That's pretty big, man. All right. Well, Josiah, you share this live stream too, because you might know some people
Yeah,
that need to hear it. And you are just a testimony of someone who, like the scripture says, is a doer of the word. You just didn't read the word.
right.
You did the word. So thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you so much, Kary, and I look forward to being with you tonight.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye, guys.